salutations to everyone out there in the world. This is the Family Table Podcast, and I am your host, Tanya Alkhaliq. And I wanted to come on tonight and just simply speak to you about what the Family Table Podcast is all about and who the Family Table Podcast reaches out to. So basically, the Family Table Podcast reaches out specifically to those of African descent, or who I like to call diasporic Africans, those particularly living in the United States. And I'd like to discuss not only issues within our varied communities, but also attempt to offer some possible solutions which would help free some of our time, free some of our space, free some of our mentality, and free some of our lives to be open and honest in all things, and to discuss our phobias, our biases, and our ingrained hatred of the self, our skin, and also want to discuss what we believe to be the best way for other people of African descent as well. Additionally, I also desire for this to be an inclusive community where we all can gather together. And although we may disagree with the stance of someone, we still welcome the opportunity for all people to learn, for us to learn, to educate, and to be educated, and never go into a conversation with single-sided motives. From my experience, this going into things experience or going into things that lead to the experience of single-sided motives, it usually leads to distrust and a misuse of platforms. So the work that we do here, and which we love to do, is solely for the purpose to unify our people and establish real community regardless of belief and or lifestyle. Now, the idea of the Family Table Podcast, or the idea of the family table itself, is presented here as a foundation to our ecosystem where we are building based in times past. The family table was where all the issues were discussed. It's where we spoke about our day and our week and the joys and triumphs of our life, as well as the moments of struggle and our sad moments as well. It's where we hashed out our issues and we left hopefully feeling empowered to continue in our individual journeys with the mindset and responsibility focus of family, friendship, and fellowship. It was the family table. Because we ate and drank and sang and played cards and included everyone regardless of their issues. And although we may not have agreed, we invited everyone in the table to the family table to participate and both love and be loved on. Some of the things were problematic, which we never discussed. However, through this podcast and the building of the family table ecosystem, my goal is to begin by having these discussions as nothing changes without exposing the issues to the light to begin the process of healing, to be honest. Then and only then can we cultivate that beneficial light and point that energy and illumination to sore spots to ensure every piece of trash has been removed and to ensure that healing is taking place through effective treatments and interventions. Now, as you listen to the Family Table Podcast, you also can get involved in the conversation and sharing of the thought paradigm with the world by retweeting and using the hashtag #TheFamilyTableNC. And please be sure to tag us in your tweets. We absolutely love to read comments and to receive feedback as well. My name, once again, is Tanya Alkhaliq, and I am the principal host of the Family Table Podcast. I am a person of Moorish experience, and I consider myself a member of diasporic Africa, and I am dedicated to dismantling systems of oppression, repression, and suppression as well. And it is my overall goal here to build community by being disruptive, inclusive, equitable, and critically centered as well. We do this through conversations, and our conversations will surround things such as religion, sexuality, gender, politics, relationships. We'll talk about some entertainment and, of course, some hot topics, which hopefully will go around viral in surrounding society. Now, I want to also share with people who are inspiring, thought-provoking, authentic, honest, and most of all, growth-centric. Once again, we will not always agree. We will not always hold to the same belief systems or sexuality or gender understandings or performance. We will sometimes have disagreements, and there may be some blow-ups from time to time. However, in all of this, I and those who will be here and are here, and we are actively dismantling. We're actively wrestling and dealing with our own stuff live before every one of you that listens. And sometimes we will have problematic views, and we may have to return to have some deeper conversations. But everything that we desire to do here at the family table is geared toward our growth. You seeing that growth and the consideration that you will join us on our growth journey. It would also not be complete if my narratives were not spun into this whole to hold some discussions and to share my life, my fears, my triumphs with all of you within this process. As a teacher and as a professor, I am an educator at heart, so this platform will be used to educate on spirituality, Pan-Africanism, social stigma, and upliftment, and how to build community amongst one another, amongst so many other things. So, this leads us all the way up to what I would call the structure of the show. As we know, we have drawn upon the power of historicity, where we bring back value, love, and support to the family table, where we can both pick and put down what we need for nourishment and satiety. With that in mind, the host and any guest host or co-host will bring whatever they're going to bring to the family table for us to discuss through conversation, through banter, through critical thought, and opinions surrounding those topics brought forth by everyone. Please keep in mind that any topics brought forward are what I would call fresh topics, which only the presenter is aware of. And so the opinion and critical thought surrounding any conversation is based solely on who we are, our experiences, and basically our understanding surrounding the presented thing that's being presented. This will also keep our show fresh. It keeps it steamy, and it keeps it hot for everyone involved in the process. We also have a mental health moment section. As a marriage and family therapist intern, I've realized the many areas of dysphoria Black or diasporic Africans face. We are so ingrained into our religious and spiritual aspirations, and I feel that we've learned so many coping mechanisms that they are really trauma responses used to create trauma bonds with those experiencing similar circumstances. And so we need mental health moments. And in these mental health moments, I'll be discussing different mental health issues, as well as interventions and ways which we can slow down, stop, breathe, which in turn will afford some people a moment of respite to begin reconstructing their lives and seek ways to effectively change negative self-serving behaviors. This is one of my ways of giving back to my communities so that you can use this moment as a passive tool for education, growth, and mental health development. Another segment which we will eventually incorporate, I would like to bring in as Ask Dr. T. This segment will purposely be utilized within the context of question-answer format. These questions will be submitted to us via various social media and can range from the social sciences and mental health to religion and sexuality. Nothing is too off-kilter or taboo to ask within education. So our responsible service is to ensure people have the information that is needed for their own good and for their benefit. The question at hand will be placed on the appropriate show to which the question fits. So please send all of your questions to thgbusinessconsulting@gmail.com. Once again, that is T as in Thomas, H as in holy, G as in girl, businessconsulting@gmail.com, or you can reach us on Twitter or Instagram with the hashtag @allthingstanya. That is the @ ALLTHINGS Tanya. Once again, that's the @ALLTHINGSTANYA. And also, our final segment for the family table will always be My Joy. My Joy will conclude each show as we discuss what it is bringing us joy at that time, what is giving us the gumption to get up, keep going, and the things that lit a fire under us to keep living. Our topics that we cover are sometimes very heavy, sometimes very problematic, sometimes hurtful, and honestly can be harmful to others dealing with mental distress. However, that is why we want to end each show with something called My Joy. Doing this will help us to recall and reprocess the purpose why we have these conversations in the first place. And also it'll help us to continue to do the work and the joy of building our community to include everyone at the table, even when we do not agree. Now, although we just discussed our final segment, I want to go back and talk about another segment where you can involve yourself in the work which we do and help us to grow in the development of this podcast and the ecosystem being created with our family in mind. This section is called the financial support section, where you can monetarily support us or get in touch with us to gift us with some needed tools from our wish list on Amazon. This is a grassroots podcast, and we're really starting from the bottom. We're starting from scratch. We're starting from the very, very low end of things. However, that doesn't mean that we're just going to give the bare minimum either. I am here to give you the very best that I have with what I have. However, asking for donations and gifts from our wish list is specifically for our growth and development of this podcast and of our ecosystem. And I'm going to be completely honest, podcasting is not free, and being consistent, putting forth content requires hours of labor weekly. And so, no, I'm not asking for you to support my lifestyle. Although I can honestly say it would be really nice to be able to be a full-time podcaster, but I am asking you to support the upward mobility of this movement. I truly appreciate the financial support or gifting from the wish list. However, sometimes money is tight and not feasible. There is a way you can still help us out. Share, and share. On all of your social media platforms, share our podcast with your friends. Share our podcast with your family. Share our podcast with your neighbors. Share it even with people who you think would be good guests on our podcast. Don't forget to hashtag the family table NC and tag us in what you share. Also, don't just share, but tell people why you want to listen to our podcast, or leave a review for us on the episode that you share. Leave some comments about how we're handling the situations being presented. Engage with us and help us to engage with your audience so that exponentially we both can grow and develop not only within our psychology, but also in social awareness and responsibility. Bring people to the conversation, and by you doing that, it helps the algorithm and it affords our podcast more views to others looking for podcasts that are like ours. Now, as part of our ecosystem within the family table, we will also have other podcast identities within the family table ecosystem. So, for instance, we have Let's Reason Together. And basically, that's where we deal specifically with spiritual leaders about specific topics and issues and social constructs regarding religious ideological stance, and to discuss the differences between the social construct and how people of faith respond to those issues. This will include some debate sometimes, as I will almost always play devil's advocate. This will also include topics of spirituality and unreligious nature from many different perspectives and pathways of critical thought from all different types of thought leaders, from atheism to voodoo. Okay. Another segment or another ecosystem of ours will be I Need a Change. And it will be an interview-based format with change agents in the world speaking from all types of topics. Now, this will also be for people who have written books, have coaching programs, do community work, and who are making a difference in the lives of people on a daily basis. This section will also host panel discussions as well. Another section is whips, chains, and cuffs. Oh my. And that will deal with kinks and fetishes and all things after dark. including erotic confessions, which can be discussed or read from those individuals who write in with their sordid stories and erotic fantasies. Also, this will be used as a sexuality talking space as well, and to teach about the principles surrounding healthy sexuality. And finally, I will be planning to offering live on-air therapy within a group or a one-on-one format. This will be a free introductory therapy session with a marriage and family therapist intern, me, of course. And I desire to do this from time to time as a means to give back to the community where people may not be able to afford mental health therapy and are afraid to go to mental health therapy because they're unsure about it, or maybe they desire to speak to someone within their own ethnic makeup. Well, I don't want you to fear. I will be giving a single 45-minute long therapy session once a month on air so people can see and understand what therapy is all about. Now, I appreciate you all so much for listening to this introductory show of the Family Table Podcast. Now, I'm going to be uploading some of our past things that we've done in the past on other platforms. And so I want you all to go and listen to some of those past things and be prepared to discuss some of those past things. And they may be problematic as well, but they were where we were sometimes 15 years ago. So just know that we're doing the greatest work of learning to change and be change agents in the world. And we want you to be welcome and to feel welcome here at the Family Table Podcast. And I hope that you enjoy everything that you hear here on the Family Table Podcast. Thank you. Have a great day and welcome to the Family Table.